Hello everybody, this might seem like an odd video to be posting, but I thought it would be beneficial for you all to hear, especially for those of you who actually want to play the Afeera hero correctly. This short video is essentially an edit to my original How to Afeera video posted about 4 months ago. I also have a very special announcement I'll be making at the end of the video, so be sure to stay tuned. In the video, I made a statement about her little cartwheel she can do out of recovery by pressing any direction in the dodge button. I mentioned that I really don't use them at all, and one of those reasons is because the iframes are terrible and she can easily be hit out of them. I also mentioned that the only unique chained move you can do after them is the flying knee to the face by pressing the guard break button, which is a dodge forward bash, and since most people already know this, they instinctively dodge to the side after they see you cartwheel. I went on to say that you technically are able to throw other attacks than just the forward bash, but those other attacks are inconsistent and not worth relying on. I want to first and foremost admit that I was clearly wrong on something. Although the negatives I was presenting are still true, I wasn't thinking on how to actually use them properly. When most heroes use their offense, they use a chain or two, then pause and wait to resume throwing more chains. This is simply in-chain pressure. Afeera has something unique to only a few heroes, and it's what I like to call chain-to-chain pressure. Don't get me wrong, Afeera has incredible chain pressure that keeps your opponents on their toes. What I missed before is that these cartwheels and follow-up attacks are a type of chain-to-chain pressure. This means even after Afeera is finished with one of her combos, she can instantly force her opponent to remain on the defensive and delay their attempts to start an easy chain. After I discovered the true power of these cartwheels, I couldn't stop. It's becoming an addiction. Send help. Following a cartwheel, you realistically have a couple options. As stated before, you can do the unique forward knee bash, which guarantees a follow-up heavy. You can also opt to try a regular neutral bash that is slower, but you can feint it. Although I typically opt for other attacks, there is definitely some value here. Another option you can take is to throw a side attack. Typically, I throw a side left heavy attack, as the side attacks are more sweeping than the top attack, and the left heavy is slower than the right-sided one. The reason for throwing these slow heavies is because if you think your opponent is going to try and dodge your flying knee, your slow rolling heavy will catch them at the end of their dodge. Keep in mind though, it doesn't have the undodgeable property, and some characters with better dodges will be able to avoid this mix-up. You can also throw a light attack or a zone attack instead of a heavy attack, but I never throw these attacks because if my opponent is thinking to dodge after a cartwheel, then they'll be able to dodge both my bash and the fast light attacks. The heavies work because they are slower. This is why I usually only opt to go with the bash or the left-sided heavy. There is something to be careful about though. Some opponents will look to counter your mix-up. If they believe you're going to throw a side heavy, they might try and throw a light attack as soon as they can to hit you out of your chain. If you notice this, letting your bash fly is the better option, as your knee comes too fast for their light attacks to connect with you. You can take this step even farther for a fancier and more damaging option. After using your cartwheel out of recovery, simply stop. Wait for the light attack and parry or deflect their interrupt attempt. This move also deals an extra effect called psychological damage and breaks your opponent's will by simply existing in your presence alone. As a slightly unrelated note, I would also like to mention a few things I did not talk about in my first Afeera video. After any parry, light or heavy, you can throw a neutral bash which guarantees a follow-up heavy. This is your max punish on heavy or zone parries unless of course you are near the environment, use a left heavy after the neutral bash, and use a top heavy off the wall splat for a total of 43 damage. This will always be your max punishment period. You can do the same thing with deflects and light parries, although if you aren't near any objects, opting for a top heavy after a light parry is your most damaging option at 27 damage. As we close today's video, I wanted to give a special announcement. I'm going to be participating in the competitive Dominion tournament Into the Fray, which starts on Saturday, September 30th. I'll be live streaming on my YouTube channel, however if I can get a Twitch set up, I will likely be streaming there. I will let you all know before the event, so be sure to keep tabs on upcoming videos. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so very much for watching, your support, and your forgiveness, as I was totally wrong about something so crucial for Afeera. Take care everyone, and hope to see you in the next one.